few years ago, I put out a video titled 5 Christmas Projects You Can Make with Scrap Wood. The most popular project from that video was a rustic Christmas tree that I made from fence wood. And apparently I wasn't detailed enough on how to make that Christmas tree because I had tons of questions about the Christmas tree and all the specific details that needed to be included with that tree. So today, I'm gonna make that tree again. I don't have time to source rustic materials for this project, so this time, I'm gonna make a little bit more of a high-end Christmas tree. I said I didn't have time to source rustic materials, but the truth is I am using scrap material from this project, but it's pieces of alder from the cabinet shop where I work, so it's not old beat up weathered material, but it is stuff that would have otherwise gone in the trash. So the first thing I'm going to do here is make sure that they're all the exact same width. So I set my table saw to a little under 2 inches to make sure that every single one of them has the same cut. I think one thing that got lost in translation in the last video is what is the exact rip that we're going to cut these boards to. So before I start, I'm going to cut all of my boards out and then I'm going to cut all of my miter so that it's easier for you guys to understand. This is all of the boards stacked up. They will go diagonally like this once we cut the miters, but this is the stack that you should have. Some of the offcuts that you made, keep them because we're going to have to infill on the bottom of the Christmas tree so that we can get a flat, flush bottom. This is 7 inches, 8 inches, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the first angle that you're going to be cutting on your stock material is at 50 degrees. This is going to be the point where each of the boards meet right in the center of your tree. Shout out to all the people who said I'd never use this 3D printed clamp. I put a stop block on the miter saw, attached it directly to it, set it up to cut all these pieces, and then I batched them all out. After you make a few cuts, you can lay them out so you get the idea of what you're going for. This is where the tree should start really taking shape. I laughed at my geometry teachers and I said I would never use this in the real world, but look at us. You and me both here using it in the real world. Angles and hypotenuses and a squared plus b squared equals who knows what. All right, let's do some math here, class. If I had cut these to 45s to make the bottom flush and straight and 90, we'd have to do 45, right, on the bottom? I cut these to 50, so 90 minus 50 is 40. Our next angle that we have to cut for the bottoms to be flush and look like a flat Christmas tree triangle is gonna be 40. And because I know for a fact I'm gonna mess this up, I'm gonna go ahead and draw straight onto the block exactly what I want to happen here. I want this to be able to stand up straight and this to be a flat cut. That way I know I'm not gonna go to the miter saw and mess things up. So you should have trapezoid pieces after you're done with all of your cuts. This is a trapezoid. I aced geometry. So here's our first cut. Let's just go ahead and make sure that everything looks right. And bam, you get the idea of what we're doing. These are your 40s, these are your 50s, and now we're just gonna run it down all the way through all of these guys. And because I know you don't wanna see me chopping wood over and over again, let's just do. So here's our tree with all of our angles cut. I am not sure if I want one more little set of branches here to make it a little bit taller. I think I'm gonna do that. This is the last one I cut was a 15, so I think I'll cut a 16, cut my angles in it, make it a little bit taller. And now I'm sure you're thinking, how is he gonna fill in the bottom of that Christmas tree? I bet there's some scientific, amazing, smart way, right? No, there's not. I'm literally gonna lay the 2 bottom pieces out, take a board, run right up inside of it, go to the edge, score a line right here, and then chop the bottom off. It's that simple. There's no science. I'm sure there's a measurement here based on the measurements of this guy and the angles of this guy and blah, 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 blah. But we're doing it easy, which is the way we do all things. All right, so I'm going to fill my last piece, and if you're lucky, you should be able to place your last piece of wood right there, and it should fill both of these spaces so you don't have any little bitty tiny triangles right here that you have to fill. We're gonna use this sticker that I got off of the lumber truck from work. Another nod to the old scrap wood video. We're gonna use this as the tree trunk. We're gonna attach all of these pieces to that, and then we're gonna build a base out of another one of these that makes it stand up and look all nice and pretty. It's really helpful if you have a tool to scribe a center line on your board. That way you can make sure everything is square and even. But if you don't have a tool, just measure it and mark it all the way down. That way you have a line to work off of. After everything is cut, all that's left to do is assemble. And that's pretty easy. You slap glue all the way down your 2x2 piece and start to set your mitered pieces right on your line. I'm using staples, but you can use brad nails or anything like that to firmly secure this. I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but the finished height of the actual Christmas tree is going to be a little over 48 inches tall because that's the full length of your 2x2 board. After you've shot all of your staples, it's totally optional, but you can go back and fill all the holes you made with your gun with wood filler. I like to do it because it helps your eyes focus on the wood and not holes in the wood. After that, we're going to cut our 2x2 pieces to 15 inches each. You're going to need 4 of those, and I'm just using Torx screws to secure them to the tree. I went ahead and drove 2 screws into each one. I wanted to make sure this thing wasn't going anywhere. Alright, so I took the time to stain the Christmas tree, and then I did a poll on YouTube and Instagram asking if I should leave it that way or if I should whitewash it and make it all snowy and cute. I got a lot of mixed responses, but I got a couple of messages telling me if I whitewash it, it'll be a nice teachable moment to show people how to do that extra step if they want to distress or add a little bit of character to their piece. So that's what I'm going to do. Time to whitewash. Let's do it. So what we're going to do is use this wax because I don't have Vaseline, but if you have Vaseline, that might work a little bit better. And we're going to coat some of these surfaces with it. Nice and splotchy and thick. That way when we come in and paint, we'll dry brush white onto it. And then that Vaseline, or paste wax in my case, will wipe right off. And there will be that nice, clear, beautiful wood showing underneath that's stained. This is a way to do it so that you don't have to sand a whole bunch and you see nice, clear spots of stain. The goal is to kind of build it up so that when you go and paint everything white, the white paint cannot make contact with the wood. And then you'll come back after everything is dry and you'll wipe off all of this wax. It'll just be that raw wood showing. So after your paint has dried, you can come back with a rag and start to wipe off those areas where you put the wax and watch the magic unfold. And if you happen to feel like it didn't take enough off, you can always just come back in and sand some of that material away. Well, I thought I was done. I went to take it to put it on my front porch. I was editing the video, and I went back to the comment section of that last video, and I saw a comment that said this. And I thought to myself, hey, that's a great idea. Oh, there's a reply, what does it say? My dumb self said, I'm gonna incorporate that into my next one. So here I am, incorporating that into my next one. I just grabbed an assortment of knobs from Hobby Lobby. I wanted to make sure that the color palette stayed pretty Christmas themed, so I didn't want to paint these wooden knobs. Spaced them out really nicely on the face of the Christmas tree, drilled holes, and slapped them babies on. Adding these little knobs, making it look like an actual Christmas tree, takes this little rink-a-dink scrap wood challenge to the next level. I'm gonna go ahead and include a shot from the last Christmas tree I did, and I'll show you this Christmas tree, and I want you to let me know in the comment section below which one you like better. I'm a fan of both because, you know, I made both. Truly though, the only critics that matter are my kids, and they loved it, so I'm sitting pretty. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho.
You like it? If you watched this video and thought to yourself, man, that was so good, how can I give this guy money to repay him? Then you're in luck. I have a lot of stuff listed on my Etsy store that you can buy to support the channel, so head on over to reformationwoodshop.etsy.com to grab something.